Hey, how we doing?
Good, I guess I gotta swap back because I still got India on.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I'll fix. There we go. That's where the other dot.
Oh, welcome.
Hello.
I'm going to save this. Save it. There we go.
Just puttering and pitney. What's going on your end of the world? What's going on, sir? How we doing?
What's up?
You know, just the usual. Grinding and being ground by the world. Why, hello there.
Hooray.
Okay. Well, as I had discussed with some of you, tonight's episode will be an epilogue, and then that might be it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, well,
Just so I can resolve the cliffhanger that I left it at last time, for the most part. And then, whatever else we learn is whatever else we learn.
Ah, yes. Speaking of which, what cliffhanger?
So we met this lovely, lovely woman who was also a little bit scary, and apparently Chaz was in the process of being groomed and not actually, a vampire yet.
Oh, wait.
And he also wasn't Edward. He was this person.
Right.
Carolyn Birch was the name. It was her prospective child.
Then I'm guessing that means that the guy who hired us, it wasn't his child as in, his sire child. It was his biological child from when he was immortal.
Unclear. Possibly a descendant, but unclear.
Or y'all just got played.
Or that, yeah.
I'm going with that one.
yep.
So there were some tense words, some repercussions, and some new perspectives, possibly truths revealed. But the cliffhanger that we were talking about is when you guys resolved back to the hotel room or wherever it was where Morgan was. Morgan was getting ready to text you guys, and I'll assume that Jacob just happens to show up at the same time. And she had a wild-eyed look on her face, and everybody's like, what? And she's like, spun the laptop around with Minecraft open, and there had been a DM that said, "Hey bro, I still have your package. What do you want to do?" So that was the cliffhanger.
Understood.
So, that said, here as we enter the epilogue, which I believe is episode 8 of the run, what do you want to do, bros?
I'm very curious to see what this package is.
It could be what we were looking for.
A lot of trouble.
Yeah, in for a penny, in for a pound. Or something like that is what they typically say, right?
So, do you think we could get him to bring it to us? Like, we tell him, hey, I'm slumming it tonight, having a party with some chicks. We have either Morgan or Penny open the door looking all sexy like, and oh yeah, I'll just open. He's in the shower. I'll open it for him or something, and then let him leave, and we find out what the package is.
We would
So,
need a nicer place than this.
That's why I said slumming it.
so what are you all thinking in regards to what we kind of need to do? A nicer place and what else?
Change of clothes. Maybe just a towel.
Sounds like we got a whole production going on. That's a good thing, I suppose. That being the case, what do you think is nicer? Your place?
Well, yes, but also no. Let's keep it to a hotel. Don't need others knowing where I live.
Oh, no, I didn't mean your place specifically, but you're not too far from quite a few decent, extraordinarily high-priced hotels that we could parlay into the sting, as it were.
Although the escape rooms do sound convenient. If they try to escape, well, that's what the room's for.
He's kind of got a point. Plus, I don't know about you, but my cash flow, I'm not exactly as liquid as I would like right now.
I am unfortunately in the same position.
Sidebar out of character. Did we explain how Jacob got here, or did we just assume he appeared?
It's
He
magic.
magically appears in a whirlwind of smoke and flames.
Just like a fucking warlock.
Exactly.
Just one of those strange coincidences that seems to happen all the times in role-playing games.
He's extraordinarily gifted with appearing and disappearing.
My totally canon answer to the question, though, is he has mastered the art of staying so perfectly still that everyone simply forgets he exists for an entire episodes at a time. And then he opens his mouth and everyone remembers, oh yeah, he's here.
Are you sure you don't have a Nosferatu in your family line somewhere?
Depends. How many warts do you see growing on my face?
They wouldn't be on your face.
Oh no.
I hear it can create barbs in places where they really shouldn't be.
I think we should table that discussion.
We won't yuck your yum, whatever it takes for you to get what you need out of whatever situation you find yourself in. But, and without an extraordinary amount of expenditure on our part, would it be beneficial for us to use your escape rooms? Do you have a nice banquet-style area that we could use? Or would you be willing to shut down for a night so we could use the entirety of your property? Or do we have to pull some strings, make some arrangements, and get a nicer hotel?
Not a problem. She will pick up the landline in the room and call her lovely little Brian and tell him to clear out one of the rooms, whichever one is like either not booked or booked for later in the night. Doesn't matter. It's going to be a private event.
How long they need to get ready, so we know how long to have you, pointing to our little newbie, make arrangements for us to get whatever it is that he's trying to ask where it needs to get to.
Couple of hours.
All right, there, we got our timetable. Can you do that?
Who, me? Says Morgan.
Choking back the who do you think we're talking to, he just clears his throat, fixing her with a very unmoving look. Yes, you with the computer, our newbie, the newest one here, the one who actually found the information that we're going to act on. How long can you make that happen within the couple of hour time frame that we just got?
Like finding a place and all that, or
We have a place, darling.
You like Harley Quinn, don't you? You've watched that movie several times, haven't you?
it's okay. Are you gonna yell at me now?
No. Okay, so basically what he's saying is you need to tell the guy on the messenger thing that we have a place to meet up, doing some hanging out with some girls. Give him the address of the escape room, but tell him he needs a couple hours and meet him at this amount of time so that we have time to get there, everything has time to get set up, and they'll come to the escape room. Make more sense?
Okay. She starts clicking away on the laptop. And it doesn't happen instantly because it's not like all the parties are hovering over the keyboard waiting for answers. But within a few minutes, it comes back with, are you sure the package isn't in much better shape than you left me with it?
Wait, is the package starting to sound like a
person?
them or person instead of a item?
Yeah, very much so.
Then as it stays quiet for another couple minutes, another message comes up that says, fine, fuck it. What's the address?
We've got a bite.
He's gonna end up getting a fucking bite.
So, presuming that Morgan is told the address, she will type the address in and then look at everybody.
All right. Well,
Okay,
Shall
next
we?
question. Do we feel safer with Morgan staying here, or are we bringing Morgan along?
let's bring her for this little outing.
Well, far be it from me to disagree, but I think we need to sort out your personal agency with this. What we are preparing to do, we have no idea how well it's going to work out. We can always use you closer to keep you safer, though in this moment no one knows exactly where you are, unless of course that laptop is being tracked. The choice of your actions and what you do is solely on your shoulders. We're more than willing to leave you here and not force you to come along with us. But you've got to make your own choice. In for a penny, in for several pounds, because we don't know what exactly is going to happen.
Is it going to be dangerous?
Existing as we are is a danger to everything, including ourselves. So I can't honestly answer that except for to say the chances are never zero that you're in any danger at any portion of the evening.
She looks frightful and kind of shrinks in on herself and just whispers, "Really?"
Yeah. One thing that I'm not going to do is sugarcoat it or make it seem easier on you. We can give you a helmet, but we can't stop you from engaging in activities that are a danger to yourself.
She rocks back and forth slightly, her hands balling into tight little fists, and she just kind of takes deep breaths.
How about this? We need to make a copy of that video that you found of the Nosferatu before we got there. Why don't you work on that? Because we need to get that in short order together. And when you're done, we can have somebody, come pick it up.
Okay. I can make a copy. I gotta find it. It'll only take a minute.
Despite herself, Lyric gives Morgan a smile and then thinks about just how far they've come, because originally when she met this girl, she was chasing her down an alleyway, terrifying her, but now...
Come a long way indeed. Of course, that would leave the question of where are you going exactly. But in our limited time frame, we will not find that out for now. So, what all is it that Penny needs to do to prepare for this meeting?
Not really a whole lot. There's probably one escape room that she favors above the rest, just for her own personal use. So that is the one Brian will probably clear, usually to set up with whatever horror theme. Not too terribly much to set up. Just resetting any puzzles that need to be reset, all the fun stuff. And of course with the hidden entrance and exit for Penny so she can eat.
Easy enough. And does anyone fill Jacob in on the events of the evening that he was away doing sneaky Tremere shit during?
Well, I would assume so. We don't want him blindsided by what all's going on. So While we are setting this trap, I'm sure they probably take turns updating him as to where this currently sits. And the fact that this more than likely seems like they were completely set up from the beginning as scapegoats. Edwards probably never meant to do you or your sire any favors, but our benefactor, such as she is at current, said that she would take care of all debts Edward had incurred. So your sire will still get something out of it.
And who is this new benefactor?
Counseling Birch. Sorry about that.
Catherine.
I thought it was Carolyn Birch. I mean, Birch. Carolyn Birch. Yeah. She seemed very much like a Posier blue blood.
I'm unfamiliar with the name, so I don't really have any insights to share on them.
Very powerful elder of parent. They know primogens and archons and can call them at will.
And they're willing to help little old us.
Because you're the enemy of my enemy is your enemy.
I'm sure we'll be paying for it later.
I don't like it, but what else can we do?
Well, there
The
is
secretary is
a nice little ocean
also
to
dead.
the side. Go for a swim.
A swim does sound lovely, but I think we have some more pressing matters to take care of.
I would be remiss in my job of narrator if I let it be thought that conversation was anything other than not friendly.
What do you mean? We're all the best of friends here.
Basically what I got from that whole situation, if I am reading her correctly, is we are no longer the biggest bugs for her to squash. Edwards is a thorn in her side, so he is therefore the more important one to squash currently, and then if she has some energy left over, she might hit us back later. But for now, we have inadvertently helped her find out some things she didn't know. Also, that livery company we so creatively escaped from was hers. The person that was following us, also her.
I see.
Oh, and the Nosferatu that probably set us up also probably works for her.
Oh, lovely.
Speaking of, we do need to make a copy of that tape.
Well, that's what I had Morgan working on before we left, remember?
Oh, yes.
Copy.
And also, incidentally, if anyone brings it up or does not, the love letters or whatever passed for love letters that you found in Chaz's drawer were likely also from her because the scents matched up on the perfume.
Yeah, she smelled like the letters. That was her. But she says that they weren't romantic like that anymore. That they had at one time, but then she took him on more as a mentor rather than a lover. So he had kind of a schoolboy crush on her still, and that's probably why he kept the letters. But they were indeed letters that she had written to him and smelled like her.
So yes, all kinds of neat things that Jacob missed.
All good to know.
Also, as far as the cipher went, you guys had completely cracked one of the four. You were well into the other two, but hadn't quite finished them yet. And then the fourth one is proving a little trickier.
With any luck, whatever we get from this will not necessitate finishing it, but then again, Jacob's not one to leave a project unfinished.
So I know we're setting up for all this, but this begs the question as to how we're exactly going to do this. Are we going to all be standing here when this person walks into the room, i.e. putting them instantly on guard? Or are we going to use a little bit of bait, lure them in, say, oh yeah, Jazz is in the room, he sent me out to get you and bring you in, kind of scope out what the package might or might not be, or who the package may or may not be, and then but at the same time not readily visible so that maybe guards aren't instantly up.
I'm not sure why they would be instantly up if you're part of the scenery.
So, what you're planning, not to belabor the point too much, is hiding us amongst the jump scares and the like.
Seems as good a plan as any. Everyone loves to be scared a little. Especially when you know you're going to be safe at the end.
That was my next question. Is this going to be a catch and release? Or no witnesses, they don't make it out of here?
Well, it seems like that is absolutely up to them. Though I would say we may want to keep him alive for a while, if only to decipher the rest of these codes.
In that case, I vote in favor of keeping him alive.
So we'll casting votes.
Okay.
I like this shirt. I don't want to lose it. But oh well. The less you have, the more there is to gain.
Assuming you are still there, Morgan proudly holds up a Hello Kitty thumb drive.
Carefully takes it, but at the same time, picture Carol, Catherine, holding a Hello Kitty thumb drive and absolutely loses her shit about it.
All right. Who's gonna be the safe and hold on to that till we need it?
Guess I can hold on to it.
I don't know. You couldn't go missing. We have to make sure this gets to where. Seeing as how she seems to trust me, maybe a little more than the others. Seeing as how I have no political machinations or give a fuck about who's in charge of who, I will hold on to it. She carefully tucks it into her sports bra and under.
That's right.
Ain't nobody getting it there.
Sounds like you're giving everybody a reason to actually go try to get it, but you know.
At that point, Lyric gives him a smile, but it's one of those not sweet smiles. It's a I'd like to see them fucking try smiles.
What, dude? That's a hell of a movie.
Well then, do we have everything we need?
I think so. I think we're good, yeah. Do you need any
Seeing
more
as how we
preparation?
Well, are we gonna head there now, or stay here? Seeing as how we have a couple hours, I can make sure this. She points to where she stood. The thumb drive gets to where it needs to go now, so that we are good on our word and don't have to worry about it later. In the meantime.
I think we should know what the package is first before handing that over, because there's a good chance that he was using that as blackmail against her as well. The package, that is. And we don't want to give her any more leverage over us until we make sure we have a good, safe, firm ground to stand on. Because right now, as she's illustrated, this whole thing could be a clusterfuck. What if the first guy was right, and that when we witnessed her attacking and destroying his property, i.e. his secretary, everything is no longer what it once was, with everyone being so open about declaring everything else a lie.
Fair point. I can use some time to set up some extra bonuses in the room, so to speak. And I need to find exactly where to hide you.
Behind the door works for me. It's never failed me yet. Except for the time when it did, but that's another matter entirely.
So I'm taking that As we are discussing this, we are telling Morgan farewell and heading toward the panic room or escape room.
Yeah.
Yes, she sets the laptop aside and turns some anime on. Pulls covers up around herself.
All right. To the borrowed van, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alright, so down through the hotel, through the lobby, into the stolen van, and then
Off to
A couple blocks away from my place.
so off to Penny's. The weather is about average for this time of year. It's warm, but not overly warm. The streets are, as always, busy, though not as busy as when the times that you can't go out, but busy nonetheless. You arrive at Penny's place of business and domicile. It is about mid-evening, I believe. No, yeah, it's late in the morning because you met Carolyn at like 1 a.m.
Yes.
So there are a scant few hours of daylight left, or not daylight left. Let's go the other direction. And into the escape rooms you go. How much preparation do you need to do?
Probably not a whole lot. I would assume that Brian has already taken care of most of it, or had the other employees take care of most of it. I just need to figure out what are good locations to stash my companions in.
All right. Well, we don't necessarily need to know exactly what that looks like. However, if everyone would like to give me we'll go with wits and stealth, and you can add a die to that because it's Penny's place and she knows no, you can't stand there, etc. Except for Penny, who is not hiding, of course. Or whoever's not hiding.
Oh no. You know, for all I talked up Jacob's stealth abilities, I think he might be a little camera shy.
Sigh.
these things happen. It'll be fine.
I just think the Daft Life Butt don't like us tonight.
So it looks as if Finn does an amazing job, and the other two do a passable job, you hope. It doesn't
Penny.
take... Oh, go ahead.
Penny will take a once over and make sure everything is good. Fluff pillows around people and push them back.
Now, as your would-be guest arrives, what are they greeted with? Just an empty building, or?
No. They would likely have been instructed to bring themselves up to the escape room. Meet Brian at the desk, and Brian would direct them over to the appropriate room.
All right. So, Brian directs a gentleman to the room. He's dressed pretty casually. Isn't showing a lot of wealth or anything like that. Just kind of your run-of-the-mill jeans and t-shirt, light jacket. He enters. He's very thin. Looks very distraught by this whole situation. His eyes dart around the room nervously. Assuming he sees Penny, gives her kind of a curious, confused sort of smile, and says, well, who are you?
Oh, you must be Chaz's friend. You're supposed to be my scene partner here tonight. And there's supposed to be a package?
Where's Chaz?
He got an emergency call from Mr. Edwards. Or was it Miss Birch? I don't remember. He was talking about both of them. It's really a little crazy. But we're here. We can get started on the room.
He eyes you suspiciously. Also a little confused, like he's not sure exactly what you're talking about. And he says, get started on what room? Where's Chaz? Is he coming or not?
Oh, darling, have you never been to an escape room before?
I've had to escape rooms before, but I don't... fuck it, I'm getting out of here.
So this is basically like a game? You have to solve puzzles to get the doors to open so you can get out?
He turns and tries to get out. Is that a possibility for him, or?
It is not. Penny will shrug her shoulders and throw her hands up and is like, well, it should be a fun experience for you.
I believe what the lady is saying is if you leave your lunch.
He jumps and presses himself against the wall near the door and draws a very small caliber handgun, like a 22. What the fuck is this?
Oh,
Jacob's in the room too, right?
Yes, all three of you are.
Everybody's in the room.
At that point, Jacob will step out of his hiding spot and will compel him to drop the gun.
All right, and he does so. He looks confused as to why he would do such a thing. He tries to press himself more against the wall, which is impossible. He kind of stammers out, "Look, I don't want any trouble. I'm just like the middleman. Are you with them? Because man, Chaz said, yeah, it's Chaz, man. It's not me."
Where is the package?
It's safe, man. I wasn't gonna bring it with me. I'm not a complete idiot.
Yeah, you are. The package is the only reason why you're able to breathe. Where is it so you can keep doing that?
He again tries to slide down a wall from wherever that scary disembodied voice is coming from, fumbling in his pants pockets, and he pulls out a key.
You're on the right track. What's the address?
It's just around the corner, man, in a storage locker. If you can I go? I'll give you the key.
Why don't you escort me there? After all, it's not safe for a young lady out on the streets at this hour without an escort.
I don't know that I'm the one that's safe. Who are you guys?
Tax collectors. Of a sorts.
Are you with, them?
We don't even know
Who's
who they
them?
are.
We're just associates of Jazz.
All right, so if I take you to this place and give you you'll let me go, right?
Of course.
He eyes you all, or at least those of you he can see, the two of you. He eyes you suspiciously and with great fear. Okay, well, I can't get out this door.
Oh, it's quite easy. And Penny will turn her little lock and open the door. Shall we? He will take his arm just like, they are best buddies.
Kind of recoils at the touch a little bit. And he looks over at you wide-eyed and says, You are one of them.
What, dear?
You should probably only talk when asked at this point.
Look, man, I was just doing a favor. I'm not part of this. I don't want to be part of this. I'll take you to the storage locker, and then I want to go. If I take you to like the building and like the hallway, can I just give you the key and run off? You'll never see me again, I promise.
It doesn't work that way.
Unfortunately, when Chaz roped you into this, he roped you into this. Really should have come with a disclaimer. I've got those posted right up front.
I mean, if you're just going to kill me anyway, I don't see a whole lot of reason to be helpful.
That's why you are helpful, so that we don't have to. You keep running your mouth. You keep sharing information we don't need to know you have. We can forget you have that information if you don't overshare. Because if you keep talking, we are honor bound, just like you, to protect your own existence, to protect our own. So, you can begin with answering a simple question. What exactly is the package?
It's her, man.
I wish that was the answer you think that it is.
Shall we go?
Kind of sighs resignedly and slumps a bit, but we'll start walking. So, You head down through your building and out into the streets with your temporarily kidnapped victim. He will lead you up the road, provided that nothing happens between there and here. It'll be about 3 blocks up and then 2 blocks over. And there will be a building that is a commercial building. It's got some storefronts and stuff, but above it is a couple floors of storage units. There will be a kind of freight elevator, which he will take up to the 5th floor. He will look at you all, hopefully, and go, it's just unit 514 over there. It's just right to the right. He'll kind of offer the key gingerly.
Now you understand, until we verify her of it all. You need to be here, right? So you should probably go open it for us just to be on the safe side.
He sighs with a bit of a shudder. Says that, I guess. He starts down the hallway, dragging his feet.
Not for nothing. Hey, would you be so kind as to stay close enough to keep it from drawing anything out of there to hurt you and most importantly, us?
I'll do my best.
Penny, you're on the fast side. You should start maybe listening and moving through the other areas. Make sure that we're not walking into a complete trap.
Fair enough.
Rick, you know, unfortunately, I hate to ask, but if it goes sideways, you know he can't make it out of here. He's seen everybody's face except for mine.
She gives him that vicious smile again. Mm-hmm.
The unknown gentleman looks back over his shoulder, having heard all of this. The unknown gentleman might be a stretch, but he stops in front of Unit 514 with its bright orange, probably in need of a new coat of paint door. He slides the key into a very heavy padlock. He snaps it open and drops it on the ground and looks at you guys.
Easing cautiously forward to move into a slightly closer position to see without being seen. What exactly is awaiting for us inside of this lovely storage facility?
Well, right now you don't know, because the little makeshift tiny indoor garage door has not been lifted up. Who would like to do such a thing?
Hey, yo, Egg, would you be so kind as to do the honors and make sure that he stands directly in front as you lift from the side?
Will do.
A bit awkward, but it's not terribly heavy. It's a task that is easily accomplished with a little application of will. The door flies up with a loud crash that can only happen when a garage door is opened in a quiet hallway. And inside, just with the light coming off the hallway, which isn't a whole lot to begin with, you see a figure that is laying on the floor.
Well, that's not ominous at all.
She's wearing some sort of heels, or rather one set of heels. one single shoe, basically. She is wearing ratty old jeans with holes in them, some sort of stained t-shirt, and there appears to be a vomit up around her head.
Oh dear.
Jacob just looks at this guy and just kind of raises an eyebrow, expecting an explanation.
Hey, man, don't look at me like that. I was just following orders. This is what Chaz said to do to keep her, I guess, safe. That probably doesn't make a lot of sense, but, since you're one of them, you probably get it. I was paid to do this job, so, I don't have any, connection or anything, and obviously we never had this conversation, and I couldn't describe any of you if my life depended on it, so can, I go?
Dropping all pretenses at stealth and remaining hidden.
May I ask, does she have a pulse when you dropped her off?
She did, yeah. I assume she still does. She just, she had a little accident. She does that.
A little accident. Can you be more specific?
All the vomit there. She just, she's a vomiter.
Well, Jacob is going to try and go over and check for a pulse.
Is there
We do have a doctor with us.
Is there at least a foot restroom in there? A bucket, a plastic bag, a hole in the space?
No. It is a storage unit that is completely empty except for mouse droppings and this girl and her vomit.
And I don't want to keep saying hey you or hey buddy. You know that she's a vomiter. Is that what I heard, right?
Yeah.
And you know that because you've watched her, been in presence of her often enough to see that happen more than once.
Okay. I dropped her off here on the way. She hasn't been in there very long.
Where was she before here?
Somewhere else.
Give that somewhere else a fucking name. Please.
The non-disclosed location that I had been keeping her for Chaz.
You kept her at your place, is what you're saying, right?
Not my place. I'm not stupid.
But the place that you kept her is some place where you felt safe. Some place where you would prefer no one else knows actually exists, right?
That, sure.
Okay, cool. See, here's the thing. I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to hurt you. And yet, there are certain things that are troubling to me, deep in my soul. It's hard to imagine that I actually have one, but somewhere deep in my soul, certain things are a little more troubling. And while I don't want to hurt you, I do want to see you hurt. Rick, would you be so kind as to break his arm?
At that, he attempts to run away.
Can I compel him to stop?
You would need eye contact for that, and he is turning his back to run away.
Okay, Penny is, a little fast. She will just get ahead of him.
All right, if you are going with fleetness, that will require a rouse check.
It sure will.
But pending the outcome of where your hunger currently lies after this action, you are able to get ahead of him.
I get 2.
I'm sure Lyric is going to do something.
Yeah, she had been working her way around behind him, but since he turned to run, hand kind of snatches out and yanks him back by his shirt into her grasp.
All right. You want to give me a strength and brawl to make sure you make contact there. Won't be terribly difficult. He is scared and not looking at you. Two successes is more than enough to grab him. Penny runs in front of him. He almost loses his footing. He definitely staggers and trips a little bit, but Lyric is more or less holding him up by his shirt collar at this point. He basically lets out a sob at that point. Not bursting into tears, just, that sound.
Lyric looks to Ben. How quickly do you want him to heal?
10 weeks easy. And just in case you're wondering what that means, speaking to the person in her grip, 10 weeks is because your arm will need to be reset after it starts to heal, because there's going to be a torsion that they're going to not quite find because of how skillful the young lady who's holding you is at doing these things. It's going to be such a fine line that they're not going to notice it until the bone begins to reknit, at which point they're going to have to break it again.
Look, man, it wasn't me, it was Chaz. You take it up with Chaz.
I wish I could. Unfortunately, Chaz decided to cease to be amongst us. He's no longer with us. Instead of face up for his crimes, what he's done to her and the world around her, what he's done to us by extension, and what he's done to you. Like you say, this isn't you. This is because of Chaz. Chaz did this to you.
Wait, what happened to Chaz?
Nodding to Rick.
While he was distracted by Finn, taking a hold of his forearm and putting her fingertip between the two bones in the forearm, pulls out and up at a hard rate of speed.
Alrighty, we will stick with strength and brawl for that. I see you don't have lethal body, which would have made it just automatic at that point. All right, he screams rather loudly, and more than once, as you all listen to the bones crack. You're not sure which sound is worse, the sound of the bones or the sound of his screaming. Now the tears come. And he just kind of whispers over and over to himself, "They got to him, man. They fucking got to him."
And who would they be?
You all, the death cult, man.
I've been called many things, but never a part of a cult. Does death cult have a name?
I don't know. I didn't ask. I try to stay under their radar. Chaz got all messed up with them. He said if we took the girl and held on to her, we could like use that as leverage to get somewhere safe.
I hate to put too fine of a point on it, but he's made a lot of noise. And while this place is fairly deserted, we might not want to stick around here too much. We should probably get the girl and get out of here.
Yeah.
Jacob, you were checking her vitals. Where were you checking? Her arm, her neck, her leg?
Usually checking the neck for the carotid artery, and also simultaneously seeing if she has any signs of breathing.
She is indeed breathing, faintly, but not more like she's in a deep sleep than like she's dying. She has a pulse, though it is slow.
She's breathing, she has a pulse, so she's not in any immediate danger. Apart from, being surrounded by 4 vampires, but...
True. Though the fear smells so much more delicious.
He is rather afraid. He may have soiled himself a little bit. And as we let that thought wash over us, it is 10:39, so let us take a quick break, and then we will come back and see what happens to this poor gentleman and the girl in the storage locker.
Sounds like a plan.
Slightly early, but I am back.
Welcome back.
Ditto, even.
I'm back.
Oh, Jacob was helping the girl up, I believe.
Yes, that he was.
She is rather thin, rather light, also rather high. She has some vomit that is still on her face, some matted in her hair, some on her shirt. She has sort of slightly long blonde hair. Looks like she is wearing makeup that is from 2 or 3 days ago and is kind of smeared. She does not resist. She barely mumbles out something incoherent, looks at you for a second, and then kind of passes out again.
Oh, so she was conscious.
In a loose definition of the word.
She's either severely malnourished or she's been drugged.
But is it really an either or at this point?
That's fair. honest question. What exactly are we doing with her?
Well, that's a good question. She's the key to whatever this is. And not to be a little sick.
Chris?
But I think that maybe that's what's important right now. Rick, what do you think? You like lost puppies more than I do.
Should definitely take care of her and clean her up. Nobody deserves to be treated like that. Now this guy, she gives him a shake. What are we doing with him?
What guy?
I do think that he has the message.
He also kind of knows whatever he can know about this death cult that we all are a part of.
I don't know anything, man.
Weren't you saying something about a death cult and sex tricks done on the weekend with donkeys and such? Something like that, right?
I mean, that was Chaz's grift. I was just doing him a favor.
Tell you what, darling. We do know how to get in touch with you if we need you. And what should we call you?
I'm nobody, man. Just let me go.
That sounded like puppy to me.
I need to get to the hospital.
Eventually.
I don't know what else you want from me.
Lyric lets his feet touch the ground. She's still holding him now, and slowly steps her way in front of him to look him directly in the eye. And she lets that otherness, that beast that she turns into, fill her gaze, staring at him. Know that if I even think for 2 seconds that you're gonna rat, know I can find you anywhere you might hide. She points to her nose. I can smell you wherever you go. So, keep your mouth shut and you might survive for a while. Don't make me regret it. And she lets him go.
He starts to vaguely gesture at the girl in Jacob's arms or being helped by Jacob, and whimpers in pain as he does so, and then steels himself and says, "What? Who would I tell, man? I'd be in as much trouble as anybody."
There is that.
That was a head start move.
He will nod slowly, and he will take 2 or 3 steps back. Then he will turn and sprint for the elevator.
Here it looks at Finn. I don't want to hear shit about me getting soft in my old age.
Say no more. I wouldn't honestly dream of it in this particular situation. Maybe later, but in this particular situation, don't even think about it.
Do you need me to carry the girl?
It would be of help.
Yeah.
So Lyric will put the girl on her back like a backpack, trying hard not to think about the vomit on her shirt and on her mouth.
She-
I suppose back to my place, it's the closest.
Yeah, probably safest too at this point.
As you get the girl into better light, she is a mess. The fresh vomit is kind of piled with the old vomit. She is heavily stained. She cannot stand on her own. She keeps mumbling some incoherent things and then passing out again. She does not smell very good either.
Oh yes, a shower is in order as soon as we get back, I believe.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you have to wait for the elevator to return, but that does not take terribly long. Down through the building you go. I assume the fireman carrying the girl at this point. And out into the street.
Piggyback.
All right, you will have to hold her
Made her a
arms.
backpack.
Yeah, so you'll have to hold on to her rather tightly to keep her from falling off. But out into the street, a few people give you glances because kind of odd that one woman is carrying another woman, and you're kind of a mismatched set of people anyway. And then down the street you go. No one says anything. No one stops you. It's New York. It's none of their business.
Yeah, most people are smart enough not to make eye contact. The last thing you want to do is have some crazies actually approach you because you seem approachable.
Right? I will get off on 3 briefly to have Brian, once the daylight is fully in place, to come up and watch this young lady, who I do not know who will be in my house while we are dead.
That
He's
seems
on
like a good
babysitting.
plan. All right, so you make arrangements and head up into your actual domicile.
Yes. I will invite everyone into, my bedroom because it is sunproofed, and I can lock it against people outside trying to get in. Precautions never hurt.
And what is it you do with the girl?
We are going to get her cleaned up and into fresh clothing. I assume Lyric would like to get cleaned up and into fresh clothing as well.
That was my favorite leather jacket.
I can send it out for dry cleaning. What do you think, Doctor? Yes. This is your area of expertise, so to speak.
We'd be better off at a hospital if we were really trying to help her.
I'm sure a rehab place wouldn't work better.
If she's gone without food or water for as long as I think she has, an emergency room would be more appropriate. And besides, they can admit her to a rehab facility afterwards.
Getting a chance to look over her a little better as she is stripped down and thrown in a shower. She does have a number of bruises on one arm, and her pupils couldn't be any more dilated. But she also looks like she's probably malnourished. Clearly, whatever they've done to this girl for however long they've had her, it has not been humane.
I don't suppose you have any Narcan on you.
Downstairs.
Oh, convenient. Jacob is gonna go get some.
That seems
Well,
like a type of
Jacob's
things that would
gone.
keep in the first aid kit in an escape room. Keep it teenagers.
While Jacob is gone, kind of lyrics having changed her shirt, like looking at the girl and then looking at the rest of them. The thing is, we have choices to make. Do we do what's best for her, or do we do what's best for us? Because whoever it is, they both want her, it seems like. Seems like both. Well, both sires of Chaz want it. For
Well,
whatever fucking reason.
for the moment at least, she's safe here. Assuming she survives detox or whatever is going to go through her body today, we can work the rest out tomorrow.
And then the next point is, are we still giving her the copy of the tape now that we have seen what the package is?
Wouldn't hurt to give her the tape. The package, so to speak, isn't anywhere on there.
Rick looks at Finn. You're awfully silent over there.
Yeah. I try not to speak unless, of course, I have an idea. At least a notion. A hint of a scheme. I'm perfectly honest right now with everything taken as true and untrue. I don't really have an idea. I don't have a notion. I know that wrong was done to her. But we're callous. We don't care. As a society, we don't care. So there's something special about her that will slip through our fingers and back out there into circulation beyond our control if and when we let her out of our sight. So until we know that, the most prudent thing is to risk her life, to risk her existence, so that we can find that out and put ourselves in some semblance of position. Which is wrong. So even though I know what I would like to do, I know what's best to do, I don't know how to do that and still be okay with myself. What we're doing to her is furthering that wrong. What we have saved her from temporarily was wrong. We sent her out there into the world and we're wrong. And even though it's right for us to keep her, that wouldn't make us any better than where we just took her from. No matter how nice, no matter how well fed, no how much medical care we foist upon her. So yeah, I don't know what to do. There's no right way forward. Just a choice of how less evil we want to be. Because it will be a conscious decision on our part, no matter which way we fuck this girl's life further over.
Okay. But do we buy ourselves more time with the tape? I think we should. Because if she gets what she thinks she wants, and we look like we're playing ball and cooperating, she has less reason to look in our direction. Good little soldiers and all that.
I hate the idea of it, but I don't think we have any choice except to do the wrongest thing the rightest way possible. So if you think that that's the best choice, it's got my vote.
Oh, it sounds like we have ourselves a plan then.
Jacob, you ain't weighed in yet.
To be honest, I'm at a bit of a loss as to what we should do. Like you said, there's no good way that this really ends for... But I'm leaning towards your current plan, so...
Okay. With that being said, I'm gonna go handle this handoff. Because I assume you would not want her. Well, she probably knows where you live, but at the same time, meeting me here to pick this up. So, I'll be back. If problems find me, I will text and try to handle it myself.
Of course you will.
And
How else are we going to get out of there?
Back down without...
Follow right behind.
Biggest problem is the sun will be upon you pretty soon.
So, you ready to immolate ourselves? Because, time is of the essence, and we didn't get much time for that.
Shit. So, we're getting to the door before they actually head out. Fuck. Okay, so she will call the number on the card.
Gum?
Alright, the phone rings
Takes the gum.
like 3 times, and then a gruff male voice just says, yeah.
I have what was asked of us. I need a drop point close to me. And I give him the nearest cross street to where we are. Where do you want me to leave this? I don't have a lot of time.
He will tell you that someone will be along very shortly. If you want to put it in an envelope and leave it somewhere inconspicuous at a doorstep, as long as you give him the address, that it should be taken care of. Or you can hand it off in person, whichever you're more comfortable with.
And they will put it in the envelope and walk it down to that address. If it starts to get too close to sunrise before this person shows up, she will indeed tuck it in a safe place and then go back to the safe room, but she'll try to wait it out.
waiting it out is indeed possible. Just depends on your comfort level, because it will cut it rather close.
She's only going to walk down like 2 blocks. She can hoof it back relatively quickly.
Yeah, we could do that.
All right, so someone arrives in a town car, gets out, looks around, is clearly looking for something. I assume that you make yourselves known. There's a hint of recognition, and they walk forward and retrieve the item from you. And barring any sort of things that you might want to do, that would be the whole of the transaction.
No. We get a good look at him just in case we run into him again, and we head our asses back to the escape room so that we are safe from the sun.
All right. Well, they are not quite smoking as they enter, but they are not far from it.
Guess I won't be needing a cigarette after this.
You have a scant few minutes before the day will take you. Is anybody saying anything or planning anything?
While we were gone, did the girl come to, or what's her status?
I assume that she has been put somewhere at least semi-comfortable. She just continues to sleep.
Bare bedroom.
You sure there's no meat hook we can just rest her on for a little while?
That would keep her from escaping.
A fake one. Add her to the decor downstairs. Wow, this body is really lifelike.
You know the difference between a villain and a supervillain? Presentation.
All right, so the daylight comes upon you. Go ahead, Lyric.
I'm sure they curl up puppy pile style or something.
You know, Penny won't object.
All right, so the daylight comes upon you, and you spend the day in a death state, in some sort of slumber party orgy pile. And then as soon as it seems that you have died for the day, suddenly your eyes flick open and you are ambulatory once again.
There's nothing so discombobulating to the soul as dying and still being here. It's really a rough trade-off. Can't even have a decent nightmare. And uncurl from around Rick and far stretch simply for something to do. Because there's a lot of things that we didn't get a chance to say overall. We have effectively kidnapped a living person. We've made Penny's staff member, her loyal retainer, her property, become accessory after the fact. And we weren't awake, alive, ambulatory, just in case anything went sideways. So we could be waking up to the stench of the dead. The actual truly dead, or worse. Not doubting you, Doc, or anything, but even at a minimum of 8 hours of daylight with, the late winter climb, that leaves a long time for a lot of things to go horrible.
You little Miss Sunshine first thing in the fucking evening. She slides off the bed.
Yeah, it's better than how I actually fucking feel right now. It's just, I don't like this. I feel dirty. Not in the good way that makes you want to open windows and sing and dance dirty. Just actually fucking filthy. Like that last seat on those old buses with the bathroom, the one that sits right next to it, that no one wants to sit in because that's where everybody drops their garbage. The garbage can inside the little cubicle bathroom is filled with, so they just sit it right there. They spill the soda, the juice, the beer, their bodily fluids, all in that space right there on the way in and out of that bathroom. That's how I feel.
So, as you all emerge, presumably from the daylight safe room, you find, I assume, moving into a common room, you find Penny's retainer sitting opposite the girl you saw before, except now clean and sitting upright. There is a trash pail next to her, and a half a cup of coffee sitting on the table in front of her. She's kind of scratching at her arms and shaking a little bit. Brian looks over at Penny and kind of subtly nods at the girl.
Penny will give her a smile. I'm glad to see you're awake, dear. Gave us quite the fright.
She regards you all quietly, with just the slightest hint of fear that is kind of coupled with the what else can happen to me sort of attitude.
So being nice ain't working, huh? Not in our favor. That's fine. We're not really nice people. We try to be, but unfortunately, as I'm sure you're aware, most people fail, especially those that don't try. And we really try. We miss the mark by miles sometimes, but we fucking try. So here's the thing. Some people we don't like, who don't like us, kept you in the storage of some unnamed place, like you were the Maltese Falcon, like you were Kim Kardashian's left Louis Vuitton. We'd like to know why. Do you have any clues?
I don't know, this group, that group, doesn't even matter anymore.
It does. Because this particular group, motioning to those of us who are here, we're not part of any other crew, any other group, and no one knows we know you exist. Which means we can forget you exist, if that's what you want. We can even scrounge together and motioning to the surprisingly expensive decor, even in this most public aspect of Penny's residence. We can get access to funds that you could use to set yourself up somewhere far enough away from here that this would be a very bad dream.
See, like, you say that, but the last group was going to help me, and then the group before that, no one helps me.
Here's the thing. We're not saying we're going to fucking help you. We're going to give you money so you can help yourself. You find your own way without us being connected to you at all. We can't say where you've gotten off to, nor what you've done. If pushed under weight of torture, this is what we are offering you. The opportunity for you to gain your own agency. To find your own way, wherever you think heaven or hell might exist. We're not saying you're going to succeed, but we're saying we won't be a hindrance to you being able to do that. Not our network, not our resources, nothing that connects you with us, just your freedom out there in the wind.
They'll just find me. They always do. It's just not worth it. And now that you're here with me, they'll probably kill you too.
Yeah, well, everybody's got to die for something. So you want to tell us what we're going to be dying for?
I don't know. It depends on which group. Probably her and her lackeys. They're probably the most dangerous. I don't know.
Hey, yo, Egg, you look about the same age. You can speak whatever version of English she's speaking to let her know that we mean what we say and all of that good stuff.
I don't think it's a matter of language. Seems more an issue of trust.
No, she's smart for not trusting anybody. But as we're already,
She is.
The least you can do is share whatever you got, and then we can figure it out from there. Or die at least knowing we died for something of value. I mean, what's so special about you that got everybody up in arms?
I don't know. Something I don't know what they meant, but something to do with my smell, I guess. I don't know. They just... You're like them, aren't you?
An upstanding American capitalist? Probably. At least I know Penny is. She has a business that she runs.
There was this guy, Edwards. He said he was like my grandfather, great grandfather, something like that. And he tried to help me, but then he's probably dead now.
I see. Why do you think Edwards is dead?
Because she kills everyone who crosses her.
And who is she?
They called her Shava. Shava.
Does that name mean anything to Penny?
Probably not, but if you would like to roll a intelligence and politics at a difficulty of, we'll say 6, maybe it does.
So,
And of course, anyone else who would like to make that roll is free to do so.
being as you've already, locked in our fate, can we at least have your name? I'm Seraphim. That's Lyric. That's Jacob. And that's Penelope. And you are?
I'm Sarah without the fin. Sarah, Atkinson? I've just been Sarah for so long now, I don't remember. Things are kind of fuzzy from before.
before getting involved in everybody chasing behind you and locking you up?
Yeah, you wouldn't believe some of the things they've done to me.
Oh, I'm quite well read. I would believe most things. I'm actually quite gullible if you haven't noticed.
And the fun part is that they all start just like you're starting. They want to be my friend. They want to help me. So whatever you're going to do to me, just drop the shit and just do it.
See, that's where you're wrong. I don't want to be your friend. I just want you to go, right? And to find out what's so valuable about you so that I can screw somebody else over.
I think I already know what it is.
Excellent. Then we can send her on her way. We don't even have to waste tokens for the fucking train. What do you think's so special about her?
Finn, mind if I speak with you in private about it? I don't know if she'd want to hear it.
Sure thing. Let's do this. I could use the air anyway.
Alright. And once they're far enough away that she's out of earshot, he'll just come out and say it. It's her blood. Her blood is intoxicating.
Huh. Is this a natural thing? Like X number of people?
Have you ever heard of people with particularly delicious blood, shall we say? Among the Tremere, we have a term for it. It's called a dyscrasia. Basically, under very particular circumstances, humans can develop a very highly concentrated resonance in their blood. And when that happens, and you drink that blood, well, for one thing, it's probably one of the greatest rushes that any of us could ever experience. But it can also potentially confer some additional benefits, shall we say, provided that the one consuming her knows how to take advantage of it. So her value is very much in her blood. And anyone who wants her almost certainly wants to drain her dry.
You know that's pretty
want to hear that.
You know that's pretty fucking sick and twisted. But I get it. I don't get it at all. I'm just telling you I get it. Yeah. And that explains why they'd find her eventually.
Yes. Even I could smell it on her. My nose is a bit more attuned to this kind of thing than most other kindred. In no small part thanks to my sire's machinations ensuring that I'd be able to scent out the highest quality blood.
I see. So there's no out for her at all.
Well, I can't say for certain that there isn't, but what I'm trying to say is I think that this is most likely what everyone wants from her. It's her blood. Her very unique, very delicious smelling blood.
see. And in your opinion, based on having that as being 100% right, whether it is or whether it isn't, let's say that it is, what are the chances that one of us, somewhere out there in the dark, will let her be, will let her get on with living and dying in her own time?
If they find out, 0.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure if there's already this much fuss over her, they probably already know.
All right. Not the most enjoyable news. Thank you for sharing and ruining my night. It's a pleasure talking to you in this manner. Though next time maybe we should talk about a book that you're reading or something like that.
Oh, sure, I can tell you about this new book I read, 101 Ways to Prepare Blood.
You know, you got a one-track mind. We gotta get you out more often. Let's get back inside and decide this young lady's fate, because at the end of the day, that's what we're gonna have to do.
Before you go, what are your intentions? Do you want to try and help her, or...
Or what?
Well... with blood like hers, I could make quite a bit of progress in my research.
So you'd like to exploit her like she's already been exploited?
I mean, it wouldn't be any worse than anything that's already happened to her, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
In fact, she might be better off. She'd be under our protection. We'd ensure that she would survive, because we would want to continue utilizing her resource. And... well, progress has been very slow on my end. My sire is getting very impatient. Frankly, I'm desperate for a breakthrough, and she might be the ticket.
You know, I like that determination on your part, but again, you've got a one-track mind. We gotta broaden your horizons. We gotta find you hobbies. Have you considered golf? I heard that they're opening up a Top Golf over in South Manhattan, out near the Wharf. Not quite as far as Coney, but you know, out there is a ways.
I suppose I do need to get out a little more.
Yeah, you do.
Alright, fine, I'll...
Maybe you should tell Lyric and Penny as well. You wait right here. Let me go get them for you.
Okay.
Step back inside, closing the door softly so they didn't slam. I'm sure that she's very accustomed to slamming doors and people not caring about her well-being in and around her. So we're going to try to soften that as much as possible. Penny, Lyric, the news that he has is going to change It's gonna change your life. Change how you view a lot of things. You guys are gonna want to go hear that.
Penny will arch her eyebrow. All right.
Very cool. One shoulder shrug and head for the door.
Wait for everyone to walk out, and then try to have a small heart-to-heart talk with the victim. Pacing, of course. And with each pace getting a little closer, a little more conversational. I'd like to pick around the edges and see if there's anything, any hopes she has.
She says that she'd love to go back to her life before all this started, which, wasn't that long ago, but it's all a blur and it seems like it was forever ago, but she doesn't have any sort of illusions about that ever happening.
What about if you can find another way of peace? A way to actually get away, get free of all of this crap. Hide away in some small little town in the middle of nowhere. No internet even. Just you and the roads and having to drive for miles to get into the nearest Walmart or Target or hell, probably just a Dollar General if you go far enough out there, right?
I mean, no one gets out of the city. No one like me anyway.
Where's Penny's retainer?
I assume he's still sitting on the seating apparatus opposite of Sarah.
Hey, when's the last time you got us something to eat, bud?
So I brought her some food earlier. She points at the wastebasket next to her.
Yeah, we gotta keep putting those nutrients in. You got a place we can get a nice burger? That way you can get some of the medium, some of the well, and some of it should have stayed down with all the bread they pile on these days.
Maybe I could DoorDash something.
Yeah, no, but there's a burger joint right up the street. Why don't you just run down and grab it? Because DoorDash is going to tack on another 60%, and then you got to add a tip. And of course, it's not your money, so you don't care about spending Penny's money, but, save a few dimes here and there.
Well, Penny said to watch her, and she hasn't told me anything else yet, so I assume I'm still watching her.
Good deal, good point. She's right outside. You should probably go ask and make sure that it's okay. Here's a Franklin to get her some food when Penny finally says it's okay. Just run down and grab her. Hey, you like burgers? You like crispy fries? Or do you like that sweet potato stuff they've been doing lately? I even saw some that were making fries out of butternut squash.
She turns a bit green, kind of stifles being sick for a second. Says I would kill for a cigarette.
That we can do. Yeah, you take the Franklin, you go talk to Penny. We're gonna go up to the roof and have a cigarette. Okay?
He nods and heads for where Penny went.
There's got to be a back way up so that we don't get in contact with the customers that Penny has. She has some weird guys coming through here. I'm not going to cast aspersions on her sort of business, but with guys, with girls, lots of screaming and endorphins and emotions, people getting real worked up and leaving having reached that like cathartic moment. I don't want to cast aspersions, but you know.
Sounds a lot like the last place I was. Was it the last place? The place I was at for a while.
How many places have you been at?
I don't know, a few. This place was nice. They kept me clean, kind of took care of me. I mean, they made sure that I had all the drugs I needed. They like offered me food.
Drugs? What kind of drugs do you like? And why?
Says, well, I don't really like them, but you know, you get addicted. And then, as she senses what is about to happen, she turns and looks at Finn with a gratitude in her eyes and a slight little smile. I assume he still pulls the trigger.
100%.
Well, she does not resist, but let's get a die roll just to see how much damage she's going to take, because maybe you don't kill her.
Okay.
Which, you know, might just be a case of a second shot, or she bleeds out, or something.
Sounds like a plan. Dex?
Yeah. Well, no, we'll go with composure, because she's definitely not resisting, so... It's a matter of, do your hands shake, or do you try to pull the shot at the last minute, or whatever?
Nah. He's gonna hate himself later.
It's not an easy thing to look somebody in the eyes and do it.
It's a horrible thing. Especially from behind.
All right, that will be with the pistol damage added on top of it. That should be just enough to pretty much end her damn near instantly. She slumps to the ground. There is a nice stain on the stairwell wall, which Penny's staff will have to clean up. I know probably everyone can hear the shot as her retainer opens the door to say, "Hey, Penny," and then there's a gunshot. If Finn would like to give me also a resolve and composure roll. All right, with that roll and not being terribly hungry on top of that, that blood is the most amazing thing that you've ever smelled. However, you are far from in danger of bending down and lapping it up as it comes out like a puppy.
Yeah.
She twitches a couple times on the floor at your feet, and then lays still. Lots of blood pooling around her. The rest of you hear a gunshot. What would you like to do?
Jacob is immediately running into the room, trying to figure out what the hell happened.
You don't see anything immediately in the room, but you can follow the scent of the blood easily, especially for you. And the Penny, I assume, would have a vague idea when entering the room of where that shot came from.
Yeah.
So, after tracking down the scent and seeing the site, Jacob just stands there, staring, as he realizes that he's lost quite a opportunity here. And he just looks at Finn and says, "This was your solution?" This was how you would save her?
No. Not in truth. How I saved myself. And while you don't see it, and it won't really matter, it's how I prolonged you from completely slipping away from yourself. You hate the way that your sire makes you feel. But if you'd done this, you wouldn't have been able to hate that any longer, because you would be that. All of that vile discounting of your semblance of self. And you know what? Because unlike you, unlike most other kindred, the way you felt about her blood and her continued lack of agency, her continued enslavement, is how I feel about kindred that would do such a thing. You would have been eventually my finest feast, because I would be here at ground zero watching you sell your soul, what little bit of it's that's left. I don't want to do that to myself or to you. I'm not that fucking far gone yet. Penny, I'll clean this shit up. Don't worry about it. Where are your garbage bags? I need peroxide, bleach, some scrub brushes.
Kitchen for some of it. Brian, the rest?
He stands there staring at the dead body for a minute and kind of snaps out of it and says, "What? Yeah, okay, I'm on it."
I'm gonna need painting tarps as well, because, well, our body needs to be ground up or at least chopped into pieces that we can drop in various places, or that I can drop in various places.
Jacob, you can smell the blood losing some of its potency as it continues to leak out onto the floor.
I'm assuming it would be too late to try and drink any of it, considering that her life's already gone.
Yeah, because you can tell that whatever was going on was part of her, and now that there is no her, the blood seems to be just reverting to some sort of nasty dead mess.
Lyric, unlike the rest, has come in and she sat down on the couch and crossed her leg. Because she's already kind of put two and two together, and she has nothing to say to Finn about what he did. She knows there's probably a reason for it, but at the moment she doesn't particularly care one way or the other what his reasoning for it is. She just knows that's what he did. So she's not going to get up in his face or in his face right now about this. there's a time and a place for everything. So she is sitting on the couch with her leg crossed.
There is indeed a time and a place for everything. And as the last drops of a girl who was caught up in something she didn't understand, in a world that had been a living hell for her since the moment that she stumbled into the actual world, that is where we will leave the story, at least for now. Some good stuff there. Some hard choices to make. I'm surprised the way it went, but it is what it is.